What's up, everybody? Welcome to the coffee shop. Go ahead, grab a seat. This is our first time doing this, in a kind of basically a weekly review for all our content throughout our several different channels. And before we get started, I'm gonna introduce everybody. First, I'll introduce myself. I'm the host of today's podcast and the co-owner of this channel. This is also my second channel to my main, which is Jobbers and Goons. Here with me today is fellow coffee shop member Lumos. If you want to go ahead and say what's up.
What's up, guys? It's me, Lumos Theromax. I'm super hyped to be here and discuss all the relevant stuff coming out.
Next, we have the horror specialist and one of the deepest voices you will hear on the coffee shop, Q, if you want to say what's up.
Paul, what's up, everyone? It's Q. Glad to be here and just discuss everything that's dope lately.
And then finally, today with the group, we got my boy, the Mythology guy, and someone I will be doing Zeus versus Odin with on his channel very soon, like literally today. Reality Spine. Go ahead.
What's up, gang? It's Reality Spine. If you like mythology, you can listen to my videos, or just pick up a book.
Facts. All right, so today how we treat this podcast basically is we will stop channel by channel, review what topics they've done this week, what their videos are, of course. Make sure to go subscribe to every channel we mention, as well as check out every video we mention. But we're going to give our own opinions on the topic and just kind of discuss it in general and why it's like an interesting topic, as well as if the creator is here, they'll kind of give some insight on the projects. So first channel we're going to discuss, Lumos Theromax. Lumos is more well known for his work with Lantern material in DC Comics. And first video we're going to talk about from him is 5 outerversal fights/feats of Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern. Now, I have actually watched this because typically the reason I clicked on this was Lumos has been doing a lot more lore-based stuff recently, like you did Christmas, Larfleeze, Wishlist, stuff like that. So I was kind of surprised to see you go outright into scaling. But you did have some pretty important Hal feats in here. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but he did have some good scaling with other entities. But yeah, I know, Q, I know you are a DC fan.
Yeah.
Spine, I'm not sure if you read any comics, do you?
Yeah.
I got him into some recently, actually.
Yeah, okay, how about this? We'll start it off like this. Lumos, what inspired this video? Like, why'd you feel like scaling Jordan?
So I had somebody, like another YouTuber, actually hit me up and say, "Hey, yo, I'm gonna be throwing some people your way for some like really crazy lantern scaling, since you're obviously the guy for that." And so I was like, "Bro, I need to put out a video to essentially shut up a few fan bases because they really think like their content is really hot jazz when it's really not." And to even reference a video you put out a while back, the Ben 10 versus the Green Lantern video that you had, like there's just a lot of people who don't believe he has solid feats, and I needed a solid video demonstrating that to just like put it to rest. That like, hey, obviously here's 5 times that are pretty undeniable in which Hal Jordan does some pretty like wacky ass shit.
Got it. Now, would you say these are cut and dry moments for scaling for him, or were these controversial moments you picked that are popular?
I think what I picked are pretty cut and dry with the scaling I use, but I can understand some people's interpretations of certain things scaling different ways. I think it's kind of goofy, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Q, you have an opinion on Hal Jordan?
Sorry, man, you cut out. What do you say?
Do you have an opinion on Hal Jordan?
I definitely think he has the most general testosterone and memorability after most of the Green Lanterns. And I think he's given a lot of downplay by the doubters who don't give a single read to his comics, which is infuriating. I understand Lewis's standpoint, so I'm glad he made that video to kind of silence once and for all that death battle, clash.
True.
Spawn, do you have any takes on Jordan or Green Lanterns?
Yeah. I think I don't think Hal gets enough credit as he should, considering that I think it was after Jeff Johns really actually started working on the lore and like expanding and actually making Green Lantern good. I just think a lot of those Hal memes, like during the Silver Age, kind of like plagued him for a while, so he didn't really get
The color yellow.
get that boost of popularity like Superman did. Like you don't see at the Macy's fair like a Green Lantern like balloon or something. But I think
and the Ryan Reynolds. I mean, mainstream Hal
Yeah.
Jordan representation has been
He's been crushed.
subpar. Yeah, like he was kind of a meme in the DC films too for the animated. Like I remember him like just getting bullied by Darkseid, his ring snatched by Batman. Like kind of made to be kind of like similar to how Flash was treated in the Justice League movie, the first one. Not Snyder Cut. He's really good in Snyder Cut, but yeah, I think I definitely think mainstream hasn't helped, especially when we've seen another Lantern, Stewart, have an amazing portrayal in mainstream and the Justice League show. He was awesome. So kind of a little different there. Personally, for me, I think Jordan's scaling became a lot more obviously impressive after he forged his own ring. At that point, it's like if you know anything about Lantern lore, that's crazy. So, I think at that point he becomes almost undeniable in terms of like, all right, he's obviously not one of the weaker links.
I mean, to take it even further, I mean, not only does he forge his own ring, but like he's striking with the force that he's like threatening the whole emotional spectrum. Like it's shaking the whole emotional spectrum. It's just absolutely crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad Spock one shots.
Get out of here.
Yeah, this leads into his second video we'll talk about, which is the White Lantern Corps. Now, White Lantern Corps... Well, okay, first of all, I know this started off like a new series for you, so I'm going to go ahead and let you like plug the series and kind of explain what you're doing with it.
So, I think some of the coolest points in comic books are actually the points in which you'd never get conclusions to. So some of the best storylines or potential storylines that should happen in the future just never really get reclaimed. And this just happens to be one of those events where, I mean, there's this outside of just the Blackest Night, we get this whole new White Lantern Corps and what exactly happens with them. And I think it's a really interesting thing to adventure because I know everyone here could sit down and think of one hero and or villain storyline that just got forgotten due to, I mean, real world shenanigans, obviously, whether the comic book was canceled or whatever it might have been, that just could have been so amazing. And I think exploring this idea could definitely be there.
With that being said, how does everyone feel about the White Lantern Corps concept? As a concept, how interested are you in that? Whoever wants to spark that, go ahead.
I mean, I feel like Lumos obviously is gonna have the best take on this from a knowledgeable standpoint, but I think it's a interesting balance. It serves like an interesting balance point between the other kind of emotional spectrums, and I don't know, like I feel maybe it's kind of like a staple life is obviously critical. Like when you obviously are, um,
Looking at the verse, life is very obviously core and fundamental to it, especially within looking at like the foundational energies that represent the idea of DC. And now that we don't necessarily have a source wall, there's nothing to keep out Necron. So I think now more so than ever would have been this would have been the time to explore that idea in a really interesting way. So hopefully DC takes credence from that. But yeah, I think the idea of a group, I think it's like 7 specifically in this, or 6, that all have a ring that come together to do some really wacky stuff during points of insane crises would be very interesting.
I have to say, it does. If they get hyped up so much, we do know, like how Broken Heart, if they pop out Kyle, but like I don't know. In general, they get all this rep, but I don't know if it's like inconsistencies, but I don't know. They're kind of like the Dr. Manhattan. I'm still like wrapping my head around that. What even happened? They didn't show that on the panel, and that's not when he was at his very peak like he is now.
True.
Even you just clown them. Like, was that hinted at? I don't even get it. I think they're just kind of inconsistent or something. They need to be fleshed out more.
I wish we could have gotten a lot more like direct statements from Manhattan in that era for sure.
They're dope though.
Yeah, I definitely I don't know. I definitely don't know how I feel about there being a core, because when the concept was kind of floated at first, they're almost like a god like status among lanterns. So I don't know how I feel about a bunch of them. So that's probably why it was kind of easy to get. Plus the way Manhattan did them, it was kind of easy to forget them.
Yeah,
like
true.
Yeah, y'all really got bossed up.
I'm not denying that one.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I think it can be like split upon like either just like the one where like Kyle is the White Lantern, or it can kind of be like thought up of as like they're the gods, like plural of the emotional spectrum, kind of like almost like a pantheon, almost like they represent the highest power.
Yeah, it got really complicated with like the power, because apparently just the White Lantern ring is essentially the key to the life equation, and that is like too much power for a person. So essentially he divided that life equation into 7 pieces, and that's their rings that he divided amongst those other White Lantern Corps members, because it was just like too powerful for him. Stuff's crazy, man.
I think that the White Lanterns, I hope that the White Lanterns play a bigger. I mean, they already have like already set the foundation for a lot of things, like like rewriting the source wall or the code in the source wall. But I hope they actually make a big effect with this newest what's that in the Infinite Frontier, like this against the newest dark.
Yeah. No, I would not be opposed to that. He definitely needs some love, to say the least. What's next on the docket?
Yeah, the definitely everyone check Lumos Theromax out to get details and more information on those topics. But next up is Q, so we're gonna head over to his channel. He actually just dropped something, and this topic is pretty spicy. I'll go ahead and let Q break down what his recent project was.
Okay, so I think I want to tackle a couple things with this, and I think when maybe the average person looks onto some paper, they may be flabbergasted onto like what this entails. Why did I mix these two together? And I mean, once you watch it, or if you know a fair bit of knowledge about both, you do know that Leviathan, one of his most notable forms, does take the appearance of a milkman. He's got a good amount of drip, but also just like killing 2 birds with 1 stone too. I did want to bring some more respect to the Hellraiser verse. Splash did do that in the past, and I just wanted to build upon that since we kind of were doing that together for a while. It's OP. We got some doubters in my comments already, but what Splash and I know it's insane. And then on the other hand, with Milkman Man, I kind of wanted to. I kind of went on a bit of a, I wouldn't say tangent, but a bit of a roll onto debunking why some people think he's like the most powerful iteration when he's literally just limbo tier. And I kind of just went to that and explained it. And I don't know, I just thought it was maybe interesting topic covering some key issues that could, be fleshed out.
Yeah, it's a interesting topic. Not a lot of people use Milkman Man in terms of actual versus battles and stuff, so that's interesting to see. As well as he's obviously a controversial figurehead in terms of being like an obscure form of Superman, and plus his scaling is kind of contingent upon a sketchy circumstance with a map and a coffee stain, so it's literally that ridiculous. Not sure. Lumos, what do you think of this battle?
So obviously the Milkman Man memes are pretty interesting to say the least. It's cool to see some representation from Hellraiser because, as Q said, that's just not something you see a lot of, let alone like the Leviathan specifically and his meme moments as a Milkman. But there's just a lot of suspect moments with Milkman Man, and it's sick to see the appreciation for Hellraiser popping off over here. So I'm a pretty big fan of the battle.
Yeah, Reality Spine, you got anything to say about it?
Honestly, I'm very surprised at the matchups that you come up with, Q.
True.
Like, and that's already kind of inspired me to start making similar content. But don't worry, like I won't be trying to rip off.
You're good.
But I think it's a very interesting match. One that I would have never thought up of. But I'm not super familiar with the Hellraiser scaling. I do remember Splash's video, but like it's kind of like some high tier horror stuff. But I've yet to watch the video, but I'm excited to see what you got.
Yeah, it gets into some outer shenanigans when you kind of do like you tier up other characters and kind of compare them to the concept of like the Dream Sea and hell and such. But it's whack. It's a dope verse, to be honest. I don't know why it gets slept on so much. I guess it's because it's kind of like dated nowadays, which is a little sad.
Is the Leviathan a monster?
It's more like an embodiment, or it's seen as kind of like, I guess, the devil, but there are multiple hells, so it represents chaos.
Yeah, so there's like different aspects to hell. There's a hell for pain. There's a hell for starvation. There's a hell for
there's one for like fury or like
fury.
rage.
Yeah, rage, shit like that. And Leviathan is one of those for pain. He is basically like the conceptual head of pain, but the way he scales is insane because there's stuff like the Dream Sea, which entails every story, narrative, dream to ever exist, and like just one of his minions peed in it. So crazy shit like that. Definitely a wild matchup. As y'all can tell, it's a high level matchup between two powerhouses from their verses, but definitely check it out, everyone, and make sure to go subscribe to Q. But next up for Coffee Shop is Reality Spine channel. Now, his video is kind of just a build up to Pantheon Wars, which I will be featured on for his first one on his channel, but I'm gonna go ahead and let him break down what Pantheon Wars is.
Hell yeah. So Pantheon Wars is basically a concept that I thought up would be an interesting one that you guys could enjoy. It's basically like a tournament style versus battles, but the concept around it is that
we pit two pantheons against each other, and like mostly their top players, and see which ones come out on top. And I've always found it like a really interesting idea. I actually tried searching up these matchups, but it would usually always go like to their comic versions. So I kind of, as a mythology guy, I wanted to give these guys some representation, some love, and all that. And I think you guys could really get hooked onto these battles.
All right, so with that being said, his video he put out so far, and me and him will be doing Zeus vs. Odin today, is Athena, a scaling video on Athena. Lumos, do you have any opinion on Athena? Any prior knowledge, anything of that sort?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of knowledge I had going into this was just flat out of what came in Percy Jackson, and just a few things, because Athena isn't one of those gods that's like one of the most, honestly, like directly brought up gods, because typically it's like Zeus, Poseidon, or like Hades, or something along those lines. So it was kind of interesting to take a look at one of the lesser known gods and some of the feats and attributes that they have.
Yeah. Q, do you know anything about Athena? Any insight on this video?
So from like a mythological like scaling perspective, not really, which made the video intriguing for sure. I love mythology. It's great to get a different taste on how they differ. Like the one I did for, that was most closely related, like was about like Hinduism, is just I love the differences, and just like the Greek section is entirely different. And yeah, as Luma said, I like kind of the more like unique ones now and then. Like maybe like I always like Demeter, for example, and Athena's always one of my favorites in general. So it was a great video.
That's awesome, Q. That's kind of the whole point of a lot of my mythology videos, besides even just to promote my own interest in mythology, is to actually get other people interested in mythology content. And recently, with going over the Greek pantheon, I will be covering every single pantheon in existence. Watch out for that. But I like the dynamics of how the scholars describe the Greek pantheon. Like a lot of the times, they'll set them up real high, like almost to the point of like brown nosing them. Like this one guy in a poem described like Zeus or Athena, like our great goddess, awesome and battle rousing, our virgin deity.
Oh
I
boy.
was like, damn.
God, yeah.
But at the same time, like as much as they're attributed to some of these actions, like Zeus, like they actually describe Zeus as wise, like sometimes like they do the exact opposite from what like they're described as. So like Athena's wise, but like for a quick example, like in this battle, if any of you guys heard of Typhon, it was probably one of Gaia's strongest children, and he was actually in some of the versions of the story like fated to almost like take over the gods, and he was mollywopping them all. So you think Athena, like she would try to do some tactical retreat? No, she just went in front of she just stood in line and got her hind butt whooped. Bruh. And you think they're wise? Like her father got totally thrashed. At least in one story. But yeah, I found it really interesting. I mostly went on that video to this guy, he requested that I do an Athena video. At first I didn't really give a shit. I was like, Athena. But I found it pretty interesting to research, and also just to keep you guys entertained before Pantheon Wars drops. So yeah.
Oh yeah, keep it rolling. Keep the content coming out, dude. It's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I'll be recording my Zeus part so that he can throw together Zeus versus Odin. That's going to be a wild start to Pantheon Wars, because both those head of their gods are very impressive in their own right. Now, moving on to the next channel, we're going to go ahead and knock out No Luck's channel. And then we will finish with my boy Captain Forest. Now, when I'm looking at No Luck's playlist currently, he's almost at 1.5k subs now. Shout out to No Luck. We have 5 days ago, he did Superman vs. Gojo. Does anybody here besides me know who Gojo is?
What the hell is a Gojo?
I definitely know like who he is. I'm not too invested into Jujutsu Kaisen, like personally, but I know of his like generalized ability set. And I did skim along with his video, and he does have some pretty good Superman scaling in here too.
Yeah, I mean, if y'all don't know who he is, I'm not gonna make you like give an opinion on it. It's an interesting, definitely a toxic topic for sure. I mean, anytime you throw Superman in, and then mix in anime, yeah, it gets rough. But after that, I mean, he has just for the audience, he has a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen content, which I also love, and I've been doing on Coffee Shop. So check it out. He did a couple narrative breakdowns after that as well. And it's super dope to see. For example, he did his personal take on perhaps Gojo being the final villain, and then explaining stuff about Yuji as a character as well. So definitely go check out No Luck. But final channel member to analyze today and talk about in terms of topics they did this week is my boy Captain Forest, who is about 15 subs from 1K. So make sure, matter of fact, hold up. Let's put his video out real quick on my. I just put out Q and Reality Spine's videos. I'm gonna put his out too. Let's try to get him to 1K subs.
Yo, go sub to Captain Forest right now.
Subby.
Get him to a G.
That's a benchmark for sure.
15 subs.
Get me a community tab, guys.
Hey,
Yeah, I know.
for
Sure. It's so annoying. I want one.
we'll get
It's
there.
so helpful.
Yeah, for sure. So, Forrest, let's go over what he's got. He's been pumping out content this week, pushing for 1K subs. He has 1 to 4 out. Okay, so first topic he covered this week: Lucifer Morningstar versus Null. I happen to have a heavy opinion on this.
Yeah, that's a hot take.
I think Lucifer would beat the shit out of Null. But I understand my opinion might not be the most popular, so that's fine. I don't know if anyone else has an opinion on the matchup, anything like that. It's definitely a spicy topic, for sure.
Yeah, I know a lot of the high-end like characters from Marvel and DC going, anytime you start popping off on them, it always gets really crazy. I'm definitely on the same side with you that Lucifer Morningstar definitely should be like one-shotting that, but he did have some pretty interesting arguments for Null that I at least hadn't seen somebody slam before, so.
That's fair. Yeah. Definitely brought the fire. And you know, I will say this. Just because we are all a part of Coffee Shop doesn't mean we all agree. We all bring different stuff to the table. So I don't have to agree with everything they put out. They did the work and they put it out. So definitely go enjoy a fresh opinion on it. Because I never understood why people want to see 37 videos all agreeing with the same shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's boring.
Yeah.
Definitely want a fresh take. So that's the first one. Second one, this is a really good topic for DC fans. Superman versus Black Adam inverse. Could go either way.
Definitely depends on the writer, because that's
Black Adam's
what it'll decide on.
like absolute G, bro. I can honestly see him taking it like more than 50% sometimes if he's like popping off.
They're both written as team smashers, just depending at what point in time they're in.
Next, he had Manhunter versus Shazam, another great inverse. Damn, I mean that's. I don't know. Depends on the era.
Which one?
Martian versus
Manhunter
Shazam.
versus Shazam, yeah.
Gotcha. Tough.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
he's gone with
Yeah,
some
that's-
bangers this week.
Yeah, that one could go either way in my eyes. That's solid.
And then finally, he did one I actually covered before: Gladiator versus Hyperion from Heroes Reborn.
Just like
Ooh.
Combat versus Heroes Reborn. Man, that Heroes. If you do take the Heroes Reborn scaling as like 100%, that Heroes Reborn Hyperion is like pretty wacky.
Yeah,
He is
until
pretty
Captain
wacky.
America pulled up.
True. That's
Oh,
why
Wolverine.
like that's why it's weird. Like the whole
It's a
situation
weird-ass story,
surrounding like his power level in that story is just so like odd. But if you do take it as just like those are genuine feats of his, yeah, that's some crazy stuff he did in that run. All of them.
Yeah, that's another banger matchup. Yeah, God, Forrest gave y'all 4 this week, so definitely go check him out and run him up to 1K because he's only a few away. But anyways, guys, that's the content review from our members for this week. Every week it changes because obviously we have more members. Some of them happen to not get stuff out this week. That's fine. But you're definitely going to want to come back to the review and make sure to subscribe to all of us. Again, it's Lumos Theromax, Q, and Reality Spine, as well as myself, Jobbers, and Goons. But we're going to go ahead and head out so I can get this Zeus recording done for my boy Realities. And then, yeah, we got more content for y'all. But anyways, I'm going to let everyone real quick sign out, and then we'll get going. Lumos, you can go first.
Hey, appreciate you for having me, man. It's been a blast rolling on here and talking everyone's content. Be sure to like and subscribe to everyone. Links will be in the description, and I'll see you next time, Lanterns.
Yep. Q, go ahead.
Yeah, Sam, thank you for having me. It's been nice talking, discussing everything. The coffee shop. And until next time, be sure to check out everyone. Links in the description for the videos.
And finally, Reality Spine, go ahead.
Hey, it's been a fun ride. Getting to know your guys' content a little bit more. It's reminded me to check it out. You know, like and subscribe. Also, a little quick plug-in. I am gonna be releasing a second channel to kind of diversify my scaling. I still am always the mythology guy, but yeah, I'll be announcing that soon.
Dope. All right. Yep. Make sure to check everyone's stuff out, and we will see y'all later. Peace.